can we start at the beginning? Because your beginning in business was very different from the way you are now, wasn't it? You know, you've put all that behind you, and you made a very conscious decision to do that, I think, quite some time ago. But tell me where it all started for Tony Robinson.
Yeah, well, I suppose in terms of business, I couldn't help but be slightly interested in it. And I do say only slightly, because my father was a successful business person. I mean, I've never considered myself an entrepreneur, but he was. There was no doubt about it. He, in something like 8 years, because of bad health, he built a very successful timber cartel, box making, of 5 whole box mills. And he had to work from home. That's why he gave up his job as the managing director of a box mill. And so that's really where it all started, because in a perverse kind of way, I'm a kind of creative kind of person, and I love sports and theatre and music and all those things much, much more than business, Graham. I had to learn how to pass my driving test at 17 so I could help in the family business. And I absolutely hated it. Absolutely loathed it. Unfortunately, when I was doing my A-levels and in the March of my A-level year, just before the exams, my father died. And I had the decision to take as to whether to help my mother with the family business, which was quite big by then, or let her manage a receding order book for the next number of years, if you like, because she'd been working in the business. And somewhat selfishly, although she really didn't think I wanted to be involved in business, I then went and did an English and American literature degree in London. And I really didn't like the idea of business at all. I got involved in the corporate world with a large American corporation. I've only been employed twice for 15 years with American corporations. And I didn't even know what the job was, really. I mean, I'd done lots of student jobs, of course, but it was in systems analysis. And I came across trade unions, and I thought they're interesting things. And so I actually did a postgraduate diploma in HR management to get involved in industrial relations. And that got me into business. And to cut a long story short, some 9 years later, after doing my postgraduate diploma in personnel management, I was chief executive of a company called Amway UK, which is the largest direct selling company in the world. And I was on a tremendously high salary. And as you know, I've got a new book out called The Happipreneur. One of the reasons is that we were going to call it a riches to rags story, because I've never, ever earned as much money as I did in that time when I was chief executive of Amway UK, traveling business class and first class around the world. I decided to give it all up to control my own destiny. I'd made a lot of people redundant during those years in business, as you can imagine, with my HR background. And I really, really wanted to start and run my own business for the reason happypreneurs, and I've coined the word happypreneur, want to do, which is actually to happily control your own destiny and make ends meet, get the most out of life, put friends and family first. Very stoic, that, Graham. And those are the reasons that Claire, my business partner, and I started our business back in 1986.
But you were taking a moral standpoint, weren't you? You didn't like the way business was done in the company you were working for.
Yeah, that's absolutely true. I mean, I do not like the way large American corporations create the culture that they create to literally burn out people in terms of increased productivity, growth. The company becomes everything. It's one of the things that Schumacher said in Small is Beautiful, basically, is that, you know, the pursuit of unlimited growth is just wrong, frankly. It's not natural. It's why they exploit our resources, our environmental resources, our human resources. It is exploitation in many ways. And there were a number of things going on that I felt, frankly, legal action should have been taken to actually stop these things going on because they were wrong. And of course, the problem is with all large American corporations, I haven't come across one that isn't, so I'm not blaming the two that I was involved in. They are very unwilling to do anything that will reduce their overall turnover, however wrong it is. So yes, I did make a decision, and the only way that you can actually be sure that you're actually able to control your own destiny, make the choices, because I think values are tremendously important really in life. You know, that's what gives you fulfillment, is that you have some values and you feel, well, I've done my best at being able to stick to those kind of ground. And so we started our own business not to become massive, although everybody always assumed that Claire, my business partner, was my secretary, which is, you know, unbelievably rude and arrogant, because she's been a millionaire all the years I've known her. Yeah, in terms of her family and her husband, who sadly died, and various things. And she now looks after that family business. But neither of us were doing it for that. We were doing it just to control our own destiny. We both had a strong work ethic. We're both very conscientious people, but we actually wanted to be able to choose customers, choose clients, you know, choose who we work with, choose who we employed, decide what status we want or don't want. And I've downsized a couple of times in terms of houses over those 34 years. And I've not regretted a single minute of it because I've been able to control my own destiny throughout.
Now, you've made a point of championing the role of the micro business, the individual. But do you think a lot of business people come under pressure? I mean, I know I did, to have an office in town, have a smart car. I was even told to register for VAT because it would look good, not for any other reason. Do you think there is a huge amount of pressure on people about image, creating the right image?
Yes, I think that, and that again is an American thing. I mean, really, if you look at it, again, Schumacher, Small is Beautiful, was really saying that, you know, the status trappings become the important thing, the material possessions, rather than the doing something outstandingly good. I always say the most successful entrepreneurs I know, and I know many through this wonderful life I've led, that are multimillionaires. And in terms of Sir Jim Ratcliffe, my classmate, is worth 19 billion. But they are actually doing something they love. They can't stand this status trappings and fakery and, yeah, fake it till you make it kind of thing. You know, it's about image. We were very lucky. We did set up a limited company because we had a view that we wanted to set up a business with a particular business model. And we're in consultancy. But the first thing that Claire did was said, and I had to give up a massive car, as you can imagine, at Amway. First thing we did was we got a second-hand, monthly paid, old, very small car leased. So we paid monthly on it, contract leased. And we got an overdraft from the bank. which was great. And that was just, I think, based on the fact that in those days you could talk to a bank manager, and they thought that the business plan was a waste of time. It was a myth. But on the other hand, I think he thought, well, if two people are as committed as these two to what they're going to try and do, I think we can give them an overdraft. But yeah, I mean, the first thing you should do if you're starting up your business, and why I say bootstrap, don't borrow, Graham, and why I think it's so important, until you've got some customers actually paying you some money, you're in the realms of myth. So therefore, you should actually cut your costs as much as you can at the beginning until you've got those customers. Once you've got money coming in, then you can start making some spending decisions and some planning decisions. Until you've got money coming in, you can't do anything.
That's what it's all about, isn't it? It's about buying something, selling it on, but you've got to sell it to somebody. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.